Hey everyone, welcome back to another weekly watch list video sponsored by MarketSmith. And these are the names I'm focused on this week. Make sure you guys know the earnings dates for anything you're looking at, as well as your current holdings. And let's jump right in and start with ASO. So overall, very strong quarterly earnings reports the past few quarters. Not the strongest estimates, but you've got some high quality names in here and nice fund ownership already for this recent IPO. And overall, it's been pretty tight the past few weeks or so. It's not 3 weeks tight if we go to a weekly, but overall pretty tight. It looks like pretty much tight the past 3 out of the 4 weeks. So looks pretty strong and is more of a swing trade setup through this type of pivot or potentially a 2-2 reversal stop at the 21 EMA. That could be a pretty good setup. So next up, we've got CPE, which did have a reversal this past week, but I'm still looking for a breakout through this standard pivot of 42.31 of this flat base. Very strong move here, potential power play, and this pullback was on lower volume. So I do want to see it recover. Maybe it falls to the 21 EMA, 50 SMA again, but this is definitely one to keep an eye on, especially because this is one of the leading groups at this point. Overall, not the strongest earnings, of course. Sales are decent, strong estimates, although estimate revisions are down, and you don't have increasing fund ownership. So this is more of a technical play and a play on the overall strong group. Moving on, we've got CrowdStrike, which did pull back last week, but it was on lower volume. And what I'm looking for is a push through this pivot, stop at the 21 EMA, or this swing low if it does reverse higher. Fantastic earnings, sales, margins, very strong estimates as well, increasing fund ownership, and Fidelity Contra Fund in there as well. So CrowdStrike, definitely on my radar. So far, the space looks pretty constructive, and it's still very early within its life cycle as a stock. If we draw this over here, it's gone from about 100 to 260, then had a nice stage 3 consolidation. Downside reversal week last week, although it was on lower volume, so that is something to keep an eye on, but this is definitely on my focus list. Moving on, we've got FNKO, which is also a pretty much technical play. You've got nice earnings the past quarter, great estimates going forward, 2021 and 2022. Fund ownership is pretty much just flat and no high quality funds, but a strong move up the past month or so. And you've got a pivot right here. Place your stop at this swing lower, the 21 EMA, and a lot of volume coming in. So I don't like how this closed well off the lows, but this is definitely one that could pop pretty quickly. So I thought I'd mention it. And next up, we've got Shift 4 payments, and there's not really great quarterly earnings or sales or estimates, but this is more of a reopening play. And overall, it is in a stage 2 ascending base, pretty rare, but it's been very tight the past few weeks or so. And overall, strong fund ownership and overall, a bunch of high quality funds in there as well. I'm looking for a breakthrough this type of area, or potentially, if we go to a weekly, just to break through that last weekly high. So that's why I'm watching with 4. And moving on, we've got NET definitely shaping up here along the right-hand side. I'm looking for a breakthrough, this handle pivot, if that continues to form up. This could go sideways for quite a while, but I'm looking to catch this breakout if it does happen and approach towards these recent all-time highs. Very consistent revenue growth the past 4 quarters. Estimate revisions are up, a nice increase in fund ownership, and 3 high-quality funds in there as well. Moving on, we've got NVAX, and overall I'm looking for a push through this high on this past Tuesday. Earnings are in 7 days, so keep that in mind. Very strong sales growth the past 3 quarters. Decent estimates. You can see that estimate revisions are down, unfortunately, but overall you've got nice growth in fund ownership and 3 high-quality funds in there as well. And it looks like Fidelity just started a position, so it'll be interesting to see if this increases going forward in the coming quarters. Moving on, we've got NVIDIA, which overall very strong quarterly earnings, sales, and margins. Good estimates as well, nice increase in fund ownership, and a bunch of high-quality funds. And it's been consolidating for quite a while now, several months, and basically since last September it's been consolidating. And overall, it did try to break out of the stage 1 cup, but then pulled back on lighter volume, which is constructive if we can push out here and take out this pivot. Stop at the 21 EMA. You could also use the standard pivot of 614.9. Next up, we've got PUBM, and you can see very strong quarterly earnings and sales the past 2 quarters. Not the greatest estimates for 2021 or 2022, and 2 high-quality funds already invested into the stock. And what I'm looking for is a breakthrough this pivot or a retake of the 50 SMA, and you could put your stop right at that 50 SMA. Moving on, we've got RBLX, a recent IPO, also forming a little bit of a pivot here. And if you go to a weekly, a lot of timeframes are lining up. You've got a weekly high, and it's basically right near all-time highs as well, apart from this kind of failed breakout here. So this pivot is also of notice. Overall accelerating sales the past few quarters. Not the strongest estimates here, and estimate revisions are down, unfortunately, but you've already got one high-quality fund invested into this stock. Next up, we've got RVLV. Strong earnings the past 2 quarters. Sales haven't really been matching that, which is something to consider, but margins are strong as well. Not the strongest estimates for the next 2 years, but estimate revisions are up, which is a good sign. And you've got a nice increase in fund ownership and one high-quality fund in there. And I'm looking for a breakthrough these highs, stop at the 21 EMA, or potentially an undercut and reclaim of the 50 or 21 EMA. And I like how it's right near that kind of IPO high. It's sitting right above that level. So that high, 48.36, is also a significant level that you could use to manage risk off of. So that is RVLV. Next up, we've got SLQT. Also, if we go to a weekly chart, it's sitting right above that key level and found support at that 2 weeks ago. And what I'm looking for is a breakthrough these highs on above average volume, stop at the 21 EMA, and ideally a challenge of these all-time highs. Very strong quarterly earnings the past few quarters, great estimates as well. Gradual increase in fund ownership and one high-quality fund, Fidelity, looking like it just started a position as well. So once again, if this starts increasing in the next few quarters, that adds to my conviction. Moving on, we've got Snap, which reported earnings right here. Faded early on, but had a strong close. So this level is important to me. I want to see it stay above that level, ideally, as well as the 50 SMA and the 60 level. But overall, very strong quarterly earnings reports. Estimate revisions are up. Comms rating is a 94, nice increase in fund ownership, and for high-quality funds in there as well. And this is if we go to a weekly, this is a stage 2 coupled handle standard pivot of 65.86. So that's a level to watch. This 65 level has been resistance. You can see right here, we've reversed right off that level, so keep that in mind. But if it does manage to push through that on above average volume, I would expect it to challenge all-time highs. Moving on, we've got Sono, and overall decent quarterly earnings the past 2 quarters. Decent estimates as well. Estimate revisions are up. Nice increase in fund ownership and one high-quality fund in there as well. I would like to see it find support at the 50 SMA and potentially reverse higher through this high and the 21 EMA, and then approach all-time highs. So I like how this started from earnings gap up. You've had a powerful move and then some consolidation, although this did kind of move up through this prior high and reverse downward. So not really a super constructive base, and this could go sideways for quite a while longer, but I think this is one to watch based on the quarterly numbers, nice increase in fund ownership, and the overall price and volume action. And lastly, we've got Vuzi, and you can see very strong sales growth the past 2 quarters, not supposed to be profitable within the next 2 years, and not really any fund ownership or fund ownership increase. So this really is a play off the strength of the chart, and this is quite volatile. So this is one that you want to size down a little bit, but I want to see a reversal through these highs, support come in at the 50 SMA, as well as a breakthrough here, putting the risk at the 21 EMA or 50 SMA. And overall earnings are in 7 days, so keep that in mind. And like I said, this is a little bit more volatile and should be treated accordingly based on your risk management rules. So that's my focus list, and overall my top 3 subs for this week are NVAX, NET, and FOR. Let me know down below what are your top 3 subs going into this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in future videos.